This is Blythe Blaines, and you're listening to Inspirado Projecto.
So it's, what do we got here? The 23rd of April. Time is now 11:19 p.m. We took my sister Jenny's car up to the airport. I just dropped her off. She's going out to help out my mom. She's going to go help out my mom. Take care of her for about 5 days. My brother drove out from Tennessee to help out my mom because she, I think it was 4 days ago, she woke up and her eye was cloudy, and she just thought that maybe she, I don't know if she got something in her eye, but her eye was cloudy. And she ended up just going to the doctor to see what's going on. When it turns out that while she was sleeping, I don't know how this happens, but somehow you can actually get a stroke in your eye. And I went online and I looked it up, and it says, the longer you wait, the worse it gets. So my mom caught it just in time, and they took her in for surgery this morning. So she went in for surgery this morning. And so when you heard that episode of this podcast with me and my sister Jenny and my brother Josh talking about, the car, me driving the car into the pond, you'll see that the whole thing came about because I just happened to be already recording a podcast, and then I ended up hearing in the other room that Jenny was talking to them. So, yeah, my brother Josh is out there in Chicagoland area helping out my mom because she's not supposed to move or do anything. I mean, she can't even pick up stuff. That's how crazy it is. It's like, it's such a careful thing. So yeah, Josh is out there, Jenny's out there. So what's so crazy, what's extra interesting about this is that episode where I'm talking about where we're talking about that, where I drove the pond into the lake and all that razzmatazz, and there's a bunch of stuff on there with Yachtly Crew and stuff. It started out with me reading facts about Manchester, Jamaica, and that came about because I ended up learning that there's a listener, someone who somehow heard the podcast way out there in Manchester, Jamaica, and so I wanted to say thank you to them. So it's interesting. Cut to probably 15 minutes ago, after I dropped Jenny off at the airport, I was driving down, we're just driving down the freeway. I took her car back, drove down the freeway, and I passed up an exit for a street called Manchester. Now, on the way up to LAX, she had been playing this music on Pandora, and wow, it was just angelic. I can't even explain what it was. It was kind of electronic, just very ethereal. I don't even know what station she's listening to, but it's very ethereal. And as I was listening to this, I was getting hints of flashbacks of dreams that I had, because it sounded like the music that was coming through had the same kind of vibe, the same mood, it contained the same ingredients as the vibe that I was experiencing in the dream, whatever it was. So while we were driving, for instance, let's say one song is on and it's like slowly chipping away, slowly chiseling away at the idea of whatever that dream was that contained that particular vibe. I can't even quite explain it, but boy, it was fascinating. And then to come across the Manchester thing, I felt like it tuned me into this awesome dream state, and I was tempted to talk all about it in the car on the way back. So I figured, one of the things I meant to do on the way back, talk to my buddy Mike Schlee on the phone. If you look on the Inspirado Projecto Instagram page, you'll notice there is an interesting Photoshop thing there called Dizzyland. It looks so cool. It looks like something David Lynch would make. My buddy Lawrence August, my collaborator extraordinaire, my fellow collaborator, he made that. He photoshopped that. I put that up there. So that was about, 4 or 5 days ago. And Sunday, right after our Yachtly cruise show at Disneyland, I was getting out of the van, and all of a sudden I started feeling dizzy. I was looking down, and bam, I was feeling like a dizzy, it was like a split second, like, I'd move my head, and it felt like just like a weird, kind of slightly weird and dizzy. So Philly Ocean and I ended up going over to Grayson and Nicoletta's house. She made us some wonderful Dutch-Greek fusion Easter dinner. And I ended up going to sleep. And while I was there, while I was laying in bed, we slept over there. While I was laying in bed, all of a sudden, the room was spinning. I got up, I threw up, went to sleep. Woke up in the morning, I think I threw up again. So I was feeling very weird. I was feeling kind of dizzy that day, kind of nauseous. And the nurse came in. Turns out I had low blood pressure. I hadn't drank any coffee. I drink a lot of coffee, and I hadn't drank any, I guess. I don't know. Who knows what's going on? But anyway, I told my symptoms to my buddy Mike Schlee, who you just heard in a past podcast. He told me to get ginger. Did I already talk about this? I feel like I talked about this already. If I did, forgive me. If not, this is something new that we need to know. He says that ginger helps out with your balance, I guess, in some way. I don't know if it does something with the equilibrium or whatnot. But he said he used to own a store where they would just juice up all these delicious juices. And they would make ginger. They would do like shots of ginger, liquid ginger. It must take a lot of ginger to do something like that. Oh, what is this? These things look like ginger, but they're peppers. Oh, here we are. $2.99 a pound. Yikes. That's interesting. I want to just get an entire one of these. Or a couple of them. Why not? There we go. Get a couple of these little ginger roots. There we go. took some decent ginger roots here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blend these puppies up in the blender. But before I do that, I got to get distilled water. And I'm going to, with the distilled water, I'm going to ozonate it. Then I'm going to blend it with the ginger. And then I think maybe I'll put some honey in there too. I don't know. Why not? Apple cider vinegar. Let's throw it all in there. Give it a good buzz. Ooh, Easter is over, which means there's going to be some interesting sales. Oh my God. There's going to be some great, I see it, I already envision it in my brain. There's going to be some great candy sales. We'll loop back around and look for those. But right now, we're on a quest for distilled water. So it looks like we're in the right aisle here. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, there's the distilled water. I'm glad I'm in the right place. Do you drink distilled water?
Yeah, sometimes.
What brand do you recommend?
I like Arrowhead.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Based on your suggestion, I'm going to be drinking this. Awesome. All right, so we got some distilled water now. Maybe it's time to get some more eggs. Looks like I'm going to have to put this down. Yeah. I'm going to have to put this. I'm going to have to put this one down. We will get back to you later. The time is 1:47 a.m. 4/24. April 24th. So it's been a while since I had cereal. I'm going to share this cereal with you. Vegan cereal. This giant cereal. She said I could have it. So it doesn't get stale while she's gone in Chicago helping out my mom. Oh, good God, this is good. There's a granola type shenanigan and a peanut butter type of Captain Crunch kind of thing. Listen to the deliciousness. Each one of those crunching sounds represents pure delight. So, John Titor, I'm not going to get into the big history of John Titor, but look up JohnTitor.com. He was a supposed time traveler from 2000 to 2001. End of 2000, beginning of 2001. Then he went back to 2036. Long story. But every once in a while, I'll go onto his Twitter. There's a couple different tweets that John Titor uses. But I just want to read you this one. This one has to do with William Shakespeare. So I'm going to read a few of these that he wrote. William Stratford. Oh, interesting. Stratford. We used to have Stratford Square Mall. Wow. I thought it didn't occur to me. Oh, also, I'm drinking like a almond, like, it's chocolate milk. Can you really call it milk Can you really call it milks, though, if it does not come from the teat? Instead of coconut milk, they could say coconut liquid material. Instead of cashew milk, cashew liquid material. Liquid cashew material. Same thing. Liquid almond material. So, here we go. William Stratford was a wealthy investor and a very fine and humorous actor. Shakespeare was mainly Amelia Bassano Lanier of the Jewish family of musicians, come to Henry's court to perform music, a lady of Elizabeth I. William Shakespeare. Anybody see Shakespeare in Love? Well, the screenwriters had to have studied William's life in order to come up with this story. Guess who the lady is? She's the real Shakespeare. Amelia Bassano Lanier. William was the actor. If anyone actually bothered to read William Shakespeare's personal history, they'll find no mention of his writing, only that he was a great investor of the theater and a very well-known actor. William also had Elizabeth I's endorsement. Her lady Amelia was Shakespeare. I don't like to promote author Joseph Atwill because he does take his comments to a very dark place. His ideas come from others, but his work linking the New Testament to the campaign of Titus is solid. So is his work on Shakespeare. He knows who the good historical PIs are. So, I decided to look up Amelia Bassano. And there's September 7th, 2015, there's something here about this. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. How fun is that? What a fun little... Like the fact that he left that little nugget in there. That little curious nugget that scholars just kept debating all throughout the years. Was William Shakespeare a guy? Was it a woman? Did someone else write it? I remember reading that it was apparently, at some point, some people thought it was a king who was using a penmanship. I just realized that the word name is man backwards, but with an E. pen name. Penmanship, pen name. Pen name, penmanship. Hello, Mr. Penman. Hello there, Mr. Penman. Hello, Mr. Penman. Imagine that, just coming up with your own name. Do you think people maybe they at first came up with their own names? Or do you think someone else named them? I guess it depends on whether you were raised by wolves or not. That has a lot to do with the name. Like, how do you come up with a name like the chief stands in the wind? Chief Windwalker. Did the idea come to them while they're on peyote? How'd that work? So now, Shakespeare. Interesting that the writer Shakespeare was apparently a woman, and yet the plays that Shakespeare put out there, from what history tells us, men played the women's parts. Very, very intriguing. Was that their little joke, their little nod, their little way of letting the audience know, like, hey, guess what? There's a lady writing this. There's a lady writing this thing. Oh, that's what this is. It's chocolate oatmeal. Oatmeal liquid material. It's crazy. What? Chocolate tasting oatmeal liquid material. Wow. Incredible. Incredible. Yowza, man. Yowza. In moderation, young men. In moderation. So you got Youngman, Penman, what are some of the other ones? Hello, I'm Mr. Youngman. Hello, I'm Mr. Penman. We'll look up some others. So, yeah. If you want to send in ideas to this show, send them to me. Send them to me. InspiradoProjecto@gmail.com, or you can call it up, put it on the voicemail. 561-203-9179. That's the one to call. So, take care. Inspirado Projecto will be back with more before you know it.
Defender of the Crown, playing pole position, and getting the attachment for the Atari 2600, being able to use the wheel to play pole position, amazing. You know, getting the video game gun for the Nintendo Entertainment System, amazing. Right, the excitement of playing at arcades at Friday, you know, at Galaxy World in Carroll Stream. Remember that? Played at Galaxy World, and then, you know, you'd hope to get a couple dollars and then quarters so you could play Galaga, you know, and then you'd have to wait in line sometimes. You get enough grease on your hands from the pizza to make that joystick work.
Have you got an idea? Have you got a song? Have you got a poem? Have you got an haiku? Have you got a laundry list? Have you got something cool that you want to share with the world? Send it on in. Call up 561-203-9179. All right, that number once again is 561-203-9179. What was that in it? It was 561-203-9179. Thank you for listening. It is now 4:56 in the p.m. It is April 24th. I'm taking you with me to the store right now. I need to get some peanut butter, bread, and dish washing liquid. Need some dishwashing liquids. Tonight I'll be joining Louis Magruder and his girlfriend Sonia and some other folks, other fine folks who I may or may not have met in the past. We'll be meeting at Maselli's, and we'll be meeting at Maselli's and talking about a project which I cannot reveal the details of. Now, it looks like we put the filming of the other film that I'm working on with Ryan McGonigal and the folks who did Black Pumpkin and Bloody Bobby, that next project, House in the Middle of Nowhere, we are scooting up. Hey, what's going on with this place? Is it going out of business, or is it?
We're actually just moving in a couple months.
Oh, you're moving it.
But last month, one of the managers left, and I just became the new manager last week.
Oh my God!
So
Holy
that's
cow!
why I turned into this shit.
Dude, so
but yeah, we're still up until the end of July.
I've been so excited that this place is here. I mean, has it been doing decent with the business?
We've been doing okay, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
House on Carolina room with Kevin Gates. That's our newest one. That one's super popular.
Oh, so because I saw a big sign out here said a house on Carolina.
That's the one.
Now that's an addition.
Inside the house, yeah.
Oh, an extra room inside the house.
Yeah.
Now it looks like there's another structure out in the back there.
We mostly use it for special events and stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, okay. So people can like rent this out for special events.
Totally. Yeah, we do it a lot.
Oh, do you have a card? If not, I'll just look online.
A lot of like special events, and then coming this summer, like every other Monday, we'll be doing like little film screenings.
Oh, that's awesome! That's a great idea for film screenings.
Right? Yeah.
How are you getting films? Can
I'm
people just submit to you?
royalty free, like Night of the Living Dead, stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mostly because I'm into the horror genre.
So I was in a horror film called Bloody Bobby, and I had a screening at a place called Sunland Sunspace, which is really awesome, way up in Shadow Hills. But I would love to do a screening at some point.
Yeah.
Do I just find you through the website?
Yeah,
or?
HollywoodEscapeHouse.com. Yeah, you can message me that way.
Okay.
Or call, yeah.
Dude, I'm Kurt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Patrick.
It's so cool, man. So wait, you're saying you're moving?
Yeah, in at the end of July we'll be moving, but once we're actually moving in the next month, so that way there's no like downtime or anything.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, this will be completely gone.
Where's the other
end of
place
July.
going?
Only a couple blocks that way off Laurel Canyon.
Oh, okay.
sounds
Okay.
good.
Oh, cool. All right, man.
Have a good
Thanks a
one,
lot. Well, there you go. So there you go. It looks like he's this place is getting changed over. Huh. Interesting. So there you have it. New piece of information that we didn't know about before. Intriguing. So there are things brewing right now. Brewing. And it's interesting to see how it all happens. It looks like my mom's eye surgery went along okay. She's healing well. My brother was out there until today, I think it was. Yeah. Jenny got out there this morning, basically. I went to the airport last night to drop her off. So she's out there hanging out with Mom. And this is the second time in my mom's life, as far as I know, as far as I've witnessed, where she has had to have like an eye patch sort of situation on her eye. First time it happened, we were really young. And I think my parents were still together. My mom would write these notes. She couldn't seem to say stuff. She couldn't get stuff off her chest, so she would write stuff a lot. And give them to my dad. And I remember this one time she was writing on one of those yellow, do you call them legal pads? I don't know. But they're yellow. They got the stripes on them. And you got the lines on them. And, they like at the top there, you go, you just rip it off. So she was writing up something, and I remember she pulled that thing out. She tore it out. And as she tore it out, the way that the wind took it, it flapped, and she got a paper cut on her eye. Oh, it's just terrible. It was always dark in the house anyway. We grew up in a house where it was just dark in there all the time. She couldn't stand bright lights. It's always dark in there. I had to be quiet, very quiet. Had to be dark in the house. She had terrible migraines. And, us being the rowdy kids we were, it just kept amplifying it. Running around being hooligans. She would have these terrible migraines. I think she still gets them. My buddy John Garside gets terrible migraines too. He tells me he starts seeing little spots in his eye and things just start getting really bad. And before he knows it, he can't see anymore. He can't drive. He said there have been a couple of times where he'd be driving and he'd start seeing those little effects, little tiny bits of the migraine coming forth. And he'd have to race home. He'd have to get home as fast as he could or pull over or something. But there are those instances like that where I'm sure you wouldn't be able to make it home. So you just have to pull over and, I don't know, fall asleep for a little bit until it went away. But I luckily have never experienced that kind of headache in my life. I'm so fortunate. Maybe it's because I drink so much coffee. I don't know. I've heard that when you drink coffee, what does it do? It's supposed to be good for headaches, apparently. I don't know if it shrinks or if it expands. I don't know what. Does something with the blood vessels. Some scientific thing. Does some kind of scientific thing with the blood vessels. That's for sure. Bottom line is something happens. And apparently it happens in a way that's good and helpful and relieves the tension of the headache. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe through all those years of having coffee, it just sort of alleviated it, and it just took away its power before it could even begin. That'd be pretty cool. I was talking with Mike Schlee the other day on the phone. He was talking about what's it called? It's a blue methylene. No, not methylene. I don't know. Some special. This. What it is? It's a blue. It's this blue liquid that goes into fish tanks. That what happens is, it's supposed to be for fish tanks. What it is it's highly concentrated. There's oxygen in there, and it's so highly concentrated that when fish are swimming upside down, and you put that into the fish tank, it's supposed to help them out. Like they'll immediately flip over, and it'll wake them up. And if you actually take this stuff, it's got properties in it where it apparently it takes away the food source of cancer. Whatever cancer breeds on, whatever its food source is, it takes it away. So it's basically starving. It starves it, and before you know it, cancer's gone because it was starved to death. It has no more food. All we're looking for here is dishwashing liquid. That's what we got. It's what we're looking for. It's what we're setting our sights on here. There we go. Grease cleaning. That's what we want. My new mission is when I walk through grocery stores now, is I try to take as much of a path of least resistance as possible, which is tricky sometimes because you can never really actually predict which directions people are going to move in. You might think it's a perfect time to make your move to scoot across, and then right then that's when that person decides they're going to move in front of you. And it's interesting. I don't know if it's maybe my training with Columbia College or whatever, but I gotta tell you, through that, through learning the idea of ensemble and give and take and being aware of energies and how to sort of distribute the energy, where the energy needs, if there's a hole on the stage, how to fill it in. If there's a space and everyone's grouped up in a corner, well, then you become one of those people that takes up that empty space over there instead of being grouped up in a corner. And so it's a series of that. And I think I was so, what do you call it? I was very spoiled with that mentality. You hear me talking about it all the time. In fact, I never stop talking about it because it's so important. But when you come across those who are not aware of that, where you're walking and you're like, certainly this person sees me, and then they move in your direction in front of you, and you're going, well, I don't know, maybe it's just like, I have a respect for the path, the intention behind a path. I don't know, maybe that's it. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Like if I see there's a through line and it looks like a person is moving towards let's say the freezer, I'm not going to suddenly decide I'm going to walk in front of them in front of the freezer and cut off their path, make them stop. Like, I just don't do that. Maybe there are people in the back of their brains, they're so used to that idea of competition, of, being the best, being the, I'm going to stomp all over you, I'm the best. And that they're so conditioned to that idea that maybe they just subconsciously just try to stop the flow. They try to cut off the progress of other people's flow. Maybe that's what it is. But there's enough flow for everybody. There's enough to go around. That's part of the craziness of this, is that there is so much flow to go around. Tons of it. And it's totally possible to live in that kind of harmony at all times. It's totally possible. This is why, like Cirque du Soleil, that's why you see them working so well together. They're becoming one mind. They're becoming an organism. They're aware of each other. They know what's going on. Even if someone improvises, they're aware of the energy so much that they're willing to allow for that space. And it's really a remarkable thing when you find yourself experiencing that, being in the middle of something like that, where there's that give and take situation, where there's the all for one and one for all type of mentality. Are these where all the bags are? So when you're that into, that kind of spirit where it's like a true superhero team kind of thing, it's a shock to then work with a series of low vibrating mindsets that are more interested in letting the ego drive them, so to speak, letting the ego be in the driver's seat rather than sort of the if you think of yourself as you're each of a tentacle of the thing that's moving along, and like each tentacle kind of has its job. It's not to say that they each have to, quote, stay in a lane, unquote. It's that the others are aware of each other tentacle's range of motion, and the group has become so concerned about just being one thing moving. They're so concerned about that, is that the universe will just naturally fit them together. That's how cool that happens. It shuffles it. Have you ever seen some of those magicians, some of those people who are really good at cards, and they got like all these different ways of shuffling cards, and sometimes when they shuffle cards, it looks like there's so little effort being put into making the cards shuffle, and maybe you could see they'll shuffle the cards upside down or sideways or weird diagonal ways, and there's always some kind of way that those cards just seem to behave. It's like the magician, almost like he's got strings tied to each and every single little card, and they're all just obeying him. So it's like the magician is, in a sense, speaking to a deeper level of understanding than just simply the cards themselves. He's speaking to the force, so to speak, the tapestry that everything is just woven together in. So when you see that kind of behavior going on, or let's say with birds, you look up in the sky and you see all those birds. Why aren't they crashing into each other? Why aren't they, smashing into each other and getting in each other's way? Well, as you look at the consciousness on those various levels, the plant consciousness, the animal consciousness, there are those animals that are hive minds. Cats. Dolores Cannon, in her book, she talks about how when you bring a cat into your house, you domesticate a cat, you're individualizing it. You're showing it what it's like to be an individual. It doesn't have that hive mindset. However, you can see what happens when you bring a few cats together. They start becoming a hive mindset. Yes, they have each of their individual personalities. And you do see how they learn from each other. It's quite remarkable. So, when you tune into that aspect of the all that is of the that phenomenal the phenomenal vibrating wavicles that are just swimming all around at all times, that we're choosing to turn on or turn off. That might be an interesting way of looking at it, of kind of thinking about it. It just popped in my brain. It's like turning on the faucet, turning off the faucet. Turning on the faucet, turning off the faucet. And then whatever directions it goes in is all based on what faucet is turned on. If we want to use an extra analogy, we can use the analogy of yes and no, or light and dark, on and off, open and closed. Open up the shade or close the shade. Open up the shade, see the light, close the shade, got darkness. It's interesting when the more we find ourselves just noticing, just seeing how the world behaves, how the world cooperates, how everything in the universe moves along, depends on each other, complements each other. It's incredible. There are things that are just happening out there in nature which are for the benefit of animals, and animals just grow up, they don't know, or maybe they do, who's to say? We say that they don't know, but we're saying that they don't know from our perspective as having what, we perceive that we have a bigger brain. Maybe they have the bigger brain. We think we got the bigger brain because we're storing it all in our heads. What if they got the bigger brain because they're more in tune with all that is? They're more in tune with the source that's flowing all around and in between. When you're plugged into that, you got it all. You got the biggest brain. That's why that meditation, when you're doing the meditation, you got open. It's like the top of the blender. You open it up, there it goes. All the ingredients. There it goes. There it is. You're plugged into all this wonderful, nutritious information. And then when you come out of meditation, look at all of that. You were just plugged into the all that is. I can imagine. I haven't done much meditating in my life. However, for those who do it a lot, like folks like David Lynch, I can imagine coming out of meditation is very similar. This is my theory. It's very similar to when a baby is first born. A baby comes from all that is. All this limitless possibilities out there in the world. All the infinite possibilities. And bountiful. And it comes from there. And then it's filtered into this limited body. But it just came from this source of just having everything. Everything. Could go anywhere, do anything. It makes that agreement. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be born into this body that's going to go through trials and tribulations. I'm going to try to get over all my karma as much as I can. And they come out. And it's a contract that they agreed to. But they forget. There's that amnesia. I mean, not for necessarily everybody. Not everybody has that amnesia. You know, some folks can rapidly remember what their past lives were, what their agreements were. That's why I think things like channeling, things like past life regression are great, because they enable a person to dip into that subconsciousness and bypass their judgmental, their normal earthling judgments, preconceptions, limitations, etc., etc., yada, 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 words, 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 so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now brewing up some distilled water. I got the dish liquid, which I'm so happy about. And we got the peanut butter, which I am so happy about. It isn't silly, love isn't silly at all. Alright, that's all for now. I gotta wash some dishes. It was great talking to you.
David Lynch personally started a campaign in Hollywood to get Laura Dern an Oscar nomination for her performance in Inland Empire. He sat on the side of the road with a cow during this campaign, which was, unfortunately, unsuccessful. Stay tuned to Inspirado Projecto for more fun facts.
Good day and hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friend, Carl Sagan, transmitting to you via satellite from the fifth sun of Jupiter. We would like to say to you that right now, out of all the nows available to humans, plants, animals, and other creatures, is this wonderful motto, logo, and saying. Carry this on with you, and it is this. Dear listener, carpe diem, seize the dream. That's right, carpe diem, seize the dream. When you're billions and billions of light years away in other galaxies, or perhaps in the middle of a planet that you have never been into before, may you remember, carpe diem, seize the dream. The next time you find yourself silver surfing across the galaxies, and next to blazing comets, or dare I say, meteorites, the next time you find yourself silver surfing out there in the dark blue yonder, I want you to remember this very, very important soundbite. May you continue to recycle this soundbite amongst your peers, co-workers, affiliates, family members, classmates, confidants, comrades, superiors, inferiors, collaborators, fellow saboteurs, etc., etc., and so forth, and so forth. And that very important message is this to you, dear listener. Carpe diem. Seize the dream. Fully embrace the dream. Seize the dream. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures, mythical beings, paranormal happenings, unidentified objections, extraterrestrials, and other forms of frequencies and vehicles. This one piece of very important wisdom is for you. Carpe diem. Seize the dream. Carpe diem. Seize the dream. Hello? Anybody out there listening to what I'm saying now? Do I at once earlier in the program thought I had an audience who was going to listen to what I was saying. And now I am wondering where my beloved audience has gone off to. Well, let's just see. That's fine with me. I am fine with that. And that is okay, because I don't need an audience to see what I have to see. Oh, what? Why are you laughing at that? That statement right there is probably the most non-hilarious statement I could have said all day. So, can you please answer me kindly as to why you decided to laugh? Oh, I guess. See, when I talk to them directly, they seem to then stop laughing, stop responding, if you will. Then, of course, well, there they go. See, when I disregard them, when I disregard them, they start laughing again. Here, listen here. Anyway, this is Carl Sagan, urging you, inviting you, and inspiring you to carpe diem. Seize the dream. Eum.